Okay, welcome to the webinar, Bitrix24, Better Business Processes. So who are we? I'm Damien Edwards, Commercial Manager of Bitrix24 Partners Interface. With me, I have our Support Manager, Andy Naylor.
Hi guys, if you've got any questions throughout the webinar, just put them in the box provided and we can have a Q&A session at the end of each section.
So we're partners of Bitrix24. We're located in Sheffield in the UK, and we have offices in New York and Dubai. And we're able to manage all pre-sales support, including providing a demonstration, answering your pre-sales questions, full implementation service, including customization and training. If you choose a self-hosted solution, we can provide either install on your server or provide a hosting solution in our data center, and we provide a telephone support service. So what is Bitrix24? A suite of over 35 tools for managing all aspects of your business. Now over 3 million organizations using Bitrix24, available as a cloud product, essentially from free. The commercial package is starting from $24 a month. And the more advanced self-hosted solutions, the base product on that is just under $1,500. One-time cost includes updates for the first 12 months. Afterwards, the maintenance renewal costs are 25% of your original license cost. So what are business processes? So the business process module within Bitrix allows organizations to execute and monitor workflows and objects such as documents, CRM items like leads and deals, on tasks, and also on HR items such as leave request and expenses submission. So Bitrix includes a very advanced editor tool with simple drag and drop pre-built action blocks, which allows you to construct these processes. Two types of business process exist within Bitrix. So three types of business process exist within Bitrix, essentially. Two main types. So we have the standard business processes, and we now have automation. Within the main business processes, we have sequential, we have state-driven processes. Andy's going to show us what these look like quickly.
Yeah, certainly. So I'll jump into Bitrix now, and I'll just show you the actual business process editor tool. We're going to look at this in a little bit more detail later when we actually build a business process. But what we're looking at here is one of the types. It's a state-driven business process. So instead of having any start and end points, it just has a series of different statuses. So you'll commonly find this on documents, for example. So you can see if the status of a document is draft, then we're going to perform a process. If it's published, we're going to perform another process, and if it's approved, we're going to perform another process. So this is a state-driven business process. And then we have a sequential business process. So we have a start point. So once we trigger this business process, it's going to start and then go through a series of different actions until we get to an end point here. So this is one we're going to build out later on in the webinar, so we can show you how easy it is to build. And then the third type is relatively new to Bitrix. It is the automation side of Bitrix. So we have automation in leads and we have automation in deals. And you can see here that the trigger points are generally the statuses of the lead or deal. And again, we're going to run through how we can build a series of automation rules in a lead later on. Okay,
let's have a look at how processes are managed in more detail. We'll look at where they can be run, how they're created, and what we can use to trigger a business process. So I think starting with running a business process on the cloud, standard Bitrix cloud products, we can run processes to manage HR and admin, such as leave requests and expenses submission. Within the CRM, most CRM modules we can run a process on, so including leads, deals, contacts and companies. Of course, popularly we can run processes on documents either automatically or you can manually trigger a process such as approval on a document. Lists. So list is a module within Bitrix that allows you to create tables of data, and you can run processes on lines of those tables. In addition, on the self-hosted, we can run processes on tasks. I think this is actually coming to the cloud as well. But you can do some additional things like run automated processes on users' profiles and do some other custom work on the self-hosted. Okay, we're going to have a look at, and it's going to show us the locations of these processes. We'll just have a look at where a process exists within the activity stream. These are generally HR processes. Have a look in how you can run a process in the CRM on a company, where you go to do that, where you go to run a process on a document, and we'll have a quick look at where you can do the new lead automation processes.
Okay, yeah, so I'll jump back into Bitrix here, and the first point is we'll start on the activity stream. So to locate these, you just need to go to the More tab, click on Workflow, and then you'll see a series of your activity stream workflows. So this is where you would run a workflow from on the activity stream. So we're going to run through a request leave in a little bit. So this is the first place. The second place, as Damien mentioned, is we have a, so if we just click into a work group and then a drive. So the second place is where we can run a business process from is in a document drive. So this can be a document drive, whether it's a work group, document drive where they're in a minute, or a company drive. We simply have to click on configure processes and ensure that this checkbox is ticked. Once it's ticked, then we will have the opportunity to run some business processes on these documents. So it may be that you want to send documents for approval and so on and so forth. So this is the second location where we can run a business process from. The third location is within the CRM. So we mentioned that we can run business processes on companies. As an example, so I'll go into a company, we'll click into TechCo here, and what we can actually do is we can manually run a business process. So in the top right hand corner, it may be that we want to create a tax return for this company. Click on tax return, we can create our own form, press start, and that is where we would start running a business process from on a company. We also have the ability to now run business processes on leads and deals in terms of the automation side of things. So if we click into a lead that already exists, click on the automation tab, then you can see here that we have a series of different actions under each status, and these will be triggered when the lead goes through these series of different statuses.
So to clarify, I think that we have within Bitrix something called business processes, and then we have automation. They do similar things. I think automation gives you this user interface that you can see, which can be a little bit easier to set up. Automation is based on stages of an item, so it will trigger these actions based on these stages being achieved. I think the main difference really is the fact that automation has triggers. So we can use external items can trigger the change of this record and go on to produce these or run these different rules that are set below each stage. So they're slightly different. In some cases, you could use either. You could use automation. You could use business process. In some cases, one or the other has benefits for what you want to do.
We just had a quick question there come in that just mentioned, can all users see the automation and or is it just administrators? So all users can actually see the automation. So if we just go into, I'll just quickly show you on this question while we're in here. So if we go to settings, and then if we go to permissions here, click on the permissions inside the CRM, then we'll just go to an example role that we have you'll see in the last column here that we have, because automation is just on deals and leads, we have, say for example, on the lead, we have the ability for this particular permission role to have read access to the automation. So everybody has read access as standard. The only other option that you do have is the ability to update. So that would allow a user to then edit the automation. So as long as they've got read access, they'll be able to see where they are and what's been sent out in the automation, which I think is really useful for the sales rep to be able to see the automation rules have been processed, because you'll see a green block and a tick. But you probably wouldn't want to give a standard sales rep the ability to edit the automation process. I would leave that in the administration role of the CRM permissions only.
Okay. We had another question in just to finish off on that section. Is Bitrix supplied with pre-built business processes? So it is in the HR, in the activity stream we looked at first, absence, leave request, and expenses submission and purchase request. I think it's sort of some of the standard business processes that are available. In terms of within documents, there's also about 6 standard processes. So it's a process for a simple approval, or a more complex two-stage approval is a standard process. You can access these processes and edit them and change them to work the way you want them to work, or you can create new ones. Within the CRM, there are no business processes. Sales processes tend to be very unique to how, to individual businesses. So there's no processes pre-built on the sales side. But if you want to talk to a partner, including ourselves, about how your sales projects work, then we can design processes for you. Okay. Creating a business process. How do we create business processes then? Well, Bitrix includes a very advanced visual editor tool for building processes. Uses drag and drop technology. It includes over 40 pre-built action blocks. Andy is going to show us how to create a process for deals on the deals module. So this is going to look at different stages, or the stages of a deal. Based on those stages, it's going to create some different actions.
Yeah, so I'll jump back into Bitrix. So first of all, I'll show you the standard business process editor tool, and then Damien will show you some of the automation rules inside Bitrix. So I'll use the business process editor. It's a little bit more advanced. So if I click into the CRM settings, and then if we click into the automation tab in the left-hand side, and then click on the business processes. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new business process for a deal. So if I click on add template. So the first thing that you need to be aware of is that there's 3 ways to trigger your business process. So what we can do here, you can see auto run. When a new deal is created, so when it's been added, we can trigger this business process. When a deal has been edited and updated, then we can trigger the business process. And then finally, if both checkboxes are unticked, then we can manually run the business process. So when I showed you the business processes inside a company, and I went to the right-hand corner and clicked workflows, then this is when these would become available when these 2 checkboxes were unticked. So let's do a deal stage change business process. So what we want to do with this is have this when the deal has been changed, so when it's been updated, and we'll click on save. So you can see on the screen, this is the standard business process editor that comes with Bitrix, and it's really simple to use. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at bringing in a condition. So what this block will do is actually check if a certain field is equal to a certain value. So we're going to look at deal stages here. So first one we're going to look at, we'll probably look at when the deal stage equals a quote. So what I've done is select element field. So I can then search for any field that exists within the deal. So in this case, I'm going to click on stage. But even if you create a custom field, you can check what that value is equal to. But in this case, I'm going to have when the stage equals quotation, then it's going to perform the series of actions underneath that. We'll also have it check if the deal stage is equal promised. And again, we'll click on element field and we'll click stage on here. So stage equals promised. And then finally, just to make it simple, we'll have when the deal is won. So we click on element field, scroll down a little bit, stage equals closed won. So what's happening here is then, so when a deal gets edited, the first thing that this is going to do is going to start at the start point and then check what is the stage of the deal. If it's a quote, if it's promised, or if it's won, then we're going to perform a series of actions. So I have some pre-built actions in here. So what we're going to do is we'll add these, and then Damien can explain what all these actions do. So we have some just for this demonstration, really just to show you what it's capable of. And we're going to have a credit check. So these are all these action blocks that I'm dragging in at the moment are available in the sections labeled, for example, document processing tasks. So they are easy to fill in. And then if we click on notify our sales manager, and then finally, thank you for your order. So in each one of these blocks, we can press in, for example, this task, click on the little cog icon, and we can pre-fill in all the information in there.
Okay, thanks. So in summary then, we've got a condition. It's looking at the stages of a deal. So whenever we have it when a deal is edited, so that would mean when any field is changed, it will check stage of the deal and trigger these different actions below the stages. That will include when a stage is updated. So when we go from a new deal to this stage quote, we'll pause 7 days and then generate a phone call. As Andy said, if we go in the settings, we can decide who that phone call is going to be assigned to and other details and descriptions of the call. When the deal stage is at promised, we're going to say create a task for somebody in a in fact, in this case, we've created a task and we've also created an assignment. We probably don't need both of those, but probably could do with just actually creating an assignment. We'll create an assignment for someone in a finance department. They will check whether this company is good for credit, and they can feedback whether they're approved or refused. Gives the sales guy some information on whether he can take this opportunity forward. And then we win the deal. In this case, it sends out a notification to the sales manager and an email out maybe to the client as well to thank them for the new order. So that's a simple sales process. As Andy said, you can add in any of these other action blocks down here, which are all available. If you can't do what you want to do, then I think if you've got the self-hosted, we have a PHP code block here, and that allows you to create custom action blocks. Just have a quick look in, come out of here, leave this page. Let's have a quick look in deals and look at how we can do similar thing using automation. If I open up this deal and if I go to the automation tab, then you can see that, if I scroll down, you can see that we have same stages here on the deal, quotation, promised, won stages, and we can add those actions in below here. If I click on edit, we can then under the promised section, if we add something in there, we can add send email, schedule call. We can communicate with the client through SMS and email again. We can even target things like adverts targeted specifically to this person based on their mobile number or email address on Google and Facebook. So we can do the same thing that Andy's just showed us using automation. I think there might be, as we said earlier, there's some benefits to using this in that we have these external triggers which you don't really have on business processes in the same way. So there's some benefits to using this. There might be a few additional action blocks available on business processes. So depending on what you want to achieve will depend on which way you do it. Okay, that's how we create a business process. Let's look at how we can discuss how we can trigger a business process. So if you have a cloud version, as we sort of mentioned there, a process can be triggered when an item is created or when an item is updated. That can automatically trigger that process you've designed. They can be run manually, so that typically might be something in the stream where you're running a process to request leave. But you can run manual process on records in the CRM and documents as well. We have webhooks, so you can integrate with another system to allow that system to trigger a process. And we just looked at within the automation, which is available on leads and deals, coming to tasks as well, I should say soon. You can use the pre-built triggers. So those triggers might be something like an incoming email that matches an email address on a deal or a lead that could trigger a process. If you have a self-hosted version, then some external triggers, other external triggers available through the API. So you could integrate with any other system that you have.
Yeah, with the self-hosted, it's quite good because you do have the ability to create multiple mailboxes. So an example of one of the standard business processes you can trigger is if you were to create, for example, a support at intraface.com, you could have that automatically create a help desk ticket.
Okay, should we look at that?
Yeah, we can do. Look. Yeah, if you just jump into the site here and click into the control panel. So for those of you that are new to Bitrix and you've not seen the self-hosted, with the self-hosted version, you do get a lot more of the ability to control and configure your system via the control panel here. So if we just go into the services section and click into the mail, you can see we've got a mail section here. Then we can set up mailboxes in here. So we've got mailboxes, and you can see we've got a support at intraface.com. So what happens here is the mailbox is set up, and Bitrix will receive all the emails that get sent to support at intraface.com. And what we can do with those emails is perform a number of different rules on them. So if we click into the rules, you'll be able to see here that we have a support ticket, add message to text support process that's assigned to this actual mailbox. Now this actual business process that's attached to it is a pre-configured one and one that comes with Bitrix. So if we just take a look at it, then you can see mailbox support intraface.com. It's actually deactivated at the moment, but what we should do is apply the events when receiving an email. And what we can do is, you can see here, try to associate the trouble ticket with a user that already exists on your system, and you can perform a series of, you can configure it to however you want it. And you can also perform conditions to it. So say, for example, if it's got an ID in the subject, or if the body, if the email contains a particular issue or particular error, then you can perform, again, a different number of actions on it as well. So it is quite a powerful tool. We don't just have them for support emails to generate new tickets. We have people that have them create new tasks. We have create activity stream posts in particular project work groups. There's a whole range of processes you can add on a number of different mailboxes.
Yeah, absolutely. So if one of your other systems can automatically generate emails, then you've got integration already with Bitrix. Bitrix can look at the subject line of the email, and if it contains a reference, specific reference or specific hashtag or something like that, then it can, it will use that as a filter and trigger this process based on seeing that particular unique identifier in the subject line. Okay, just a note on self-hosted. If you want the advanced features available on self-hosted, you don't need to host it yourself. Self-hosted really is a private cloud solution. You can talk to a partner who will be able to host it in their own data center for you. So, or if you have web space, if you rent web space already for your website, then you can put it onto there. A partner will help you install it on there. So it's not that you need to install it in a machine in your office. If you don't want to do that, it can be easily hosted on the cloud, on the internet for you. Talk to a partner and they can set it up for you. Okay, let's have a look at some live examples. We'll have a look at an example of a new project. We will have a look at leave requests, we spoke about a couple of times. Then we'll look at the automation, new automation available within leads. Okay, let's go back into the site. So I'll show you from the front end how these work, and Andy will show you the business process. So look at new project first of all. So we have new project. Let's go into CRM firstly. We have new project available in 2 areas of the system. Let's go into, this is a custom process, so we've set this up. It's not one that's shipped with Bitrix, but we have one available within a company record. So should you receive a new order instruction from this business, you can trigger your custom process to deliver that order. So in this example, it generates a form for us, and we can put in our project description, a deadline if we need to. We can select who's going to be the manager of this project. If we need to select some documents, we can do that, and that will trigger a process. In this case, it creates a work group, creates some tasks. It notifies the right people that need to be in the project, adds the documents and things like that into the drive of the work group. So it does all those different things for you.
Yeah, I think the good thing about doing it that way is it does provide a structured approach to creating projects. We have a number of clients. For example, we have a web agency that run. So once they get a new order, they actually run this manually, like Damien just showed you, but actually from the order itself. So you can actually manually trigger it from a deal if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And then it would take all the information from the deal, like documents and things like that, and then put them into the workgroup drive.
I mean, you could also go into your deal, and you could have this process run automatically. So when I change this to 1, that could trigger that process. If you want to do that, if you want to do it that way. So that is a new project, and we're just going to look at how you do the similar thing, new project within the activity stream. We have a separate one here called new project, and we'll complete this one. I'll show you what this does. Give it a name, select who's going to be the manager of this project, select some of the people that are going to be key to it, select a deadline for it. Again, this is a custom field, so you can create your own fields. Notes in here, we can add a file if we want to. We can select project type A or project type B, and then we can trigger this project. What it's done is actually ask for an approval. So we selected ourselves. I selected this user as the manager of this project, so it's actually asking myself to approve it. Let's do that. It gives us a pop-up screen with a bit of information about the project. It's asking us to import some information. So when do we expect to be able to complete this project? So I'm going to put in my date. I can add some comments. I've got the options here to reject or delegate, but we're going to approve this project. And you'll see that we've got a welcome message. In fact, that could have a link in it, but let's go into the work groups themselves. This process should have created a work group. In fact, there's the notification. So a new project has been created. There's the name of the project. We click in here. If we click into the link, it's going to take us through to the project. So it's created for us from the form. It's created for us a work group with a full list of functionality, full list of features across the top. Invited people into the group. It should have created some tasks as well. Let's create just one task in this case. And if we'd have added documents to the form, it would have populated the drive with those documents. So that's how you can. Of course, you can create these work groups manually. You can add the task manually. You can invite people in manually. But using a form and a process is, as Andy said, more structured method.
So let's take a look at how we can actually create this new project workflow. So we've done it in workflows on the activity stream, so that's where I am at the top. Now, just to point out, if you're looking for this on your cloud version and you're on a free version, you won't be able to see these. You do need to be on a paid version of Bitrix. So from the standard through to the professional, and obviously if you're on the self-hosted, you'll have these as well. So if we just go into the new project, let's have a look at how we create it. So once you create a new workflow, you can click on the actions, click on customize fields, and you can build your form up. So when Damien filled out all those form fields on the activity stream, this is where they were created in here. So you just click on add field, and you can see that we've got project name, manager, designer. These are all the fields that Damien filled out. So we've got link to employee, date, file. And the reason why you create a custom form field is obviously to give it that structured manner, but you can take all the values of these fields and put them into the actual business process that's triggered. So if I go back to the list, click on actions, click on configure workflows, then you can see that we have a new project workflow here. And the first thing that happened when Damien submitted the new project, it started at the start point and we had an approval request. So if the project was denied, we'd send the user who submitted the new project a notification and say that it's been refused. If it's been accepted, then we have a slightly different modification in our self-hosted project workgroup because we were using it to create an extranet workgroup. But you can simply use the create new workgroup action block now, click into the cog, and you can actually select what site it's for. So you can actually select your extranet site or your intranet site. So you can create an extranet workgroup if you wanted to manually. We sent a notification to all project members, added the members to the work group, and uploaded any file that was submitted on the form. And then we had a drop down to select what type of project it was. And we've got a condition here. If it's project type A, we'll create 1 task. If it's project type B, we'll create 2 tasks. And we've assigned those tasks to the actual work group itself. And then we have a welcome to the project activity.
Okay. Let's have a look at leave approval then. So if we go into our, we looked at earlier, workflows again, and leave approval, and it presents us with a form. Put in my required dates if I want to. If you want to, you can have a drop-down with selection. You can put in some notes in here if you want them to attach files, supporting evidence or anything. You can have additional fields in here, but we can trigger that process. I get the notification, so I can see now who that's with. We switch into another screen. I'm now logged in as my supervisor up here, and I can see that he has a notification. So all the details are in the activity stream. I can actually approve it or deny it as this user from the activity stream. I also see, or this user will also see these assignments appear in their workflows page up here. So click on here. This guy's got a number of different ones that they need to approve. This is the one that we've just created. Created on the date over here, so I've got the option to approve from this list view, and it drops out of my list. And if we switch back in to the main user, then we can see that that's now status is now complete. So that's fairly straightforward. Request for leave can be used for requests for different types of things as well as leave. We have our interface actually has a plugin which has some additional functionality for this side. For leave approval, which allows users to be able to have an allocated annual holiday entitlement, and those days that are approved to be deducted from that holiday entitlement. So a little bit extra functionality is available. If you have the self-hosted product, you need the self-hosted product to be able to add these additional plugins in. So, but the standard basic functionality is available, and that's a good example of an approval which can be used for leave or other areas. Should we have a quick look at what the business process looks like?
Yeah, certainly. So this is one of the standard ones that comes with Bitrix. So if I go click into the workflows, workflows and activity stream. So to get this process, you just need to go into the workflows directory here. And if they're not already installed, you will have a green button that says install. Click that, and then you'll see that you'll get the leave approval here. So if I go back into the workflows and activity stream, and I'll just briefly show you what this looks like. So you can see all requests that have been submitted because I'm an administrator. Click on actions. Again, you can customize all the fields that are in the form itself, but we'll have a look at the workflow. Click on leave approval, and you can see here that we have a series of different actions. We've got the approval itself. So once your supervisor approves it, it's going to get set to status to accepted. Rejected, it'll set the status to rejected, and then we'll check what that status is. If it gets rejected, we'll send a notification to notify the employee their leave's been refused, and if it gets approved, then we'll send a notification and book it to the absence chart. So just had a question, just can you see the user's leave balance before approving? So on the module that we've got, I think you can find it on our website, on our shop, you can actually, each user can see their own balance. So if I go to my profile in the top right hand corner here, you can see remaining holiday entitlement is 11.5 days. The user can also cancel any existing holidays that they've booked in. And if they were, say for example, if I tried now to book 15 days off, it would actually come back, it wouldn't actually go for approval, it would come back and just tell me that I've only got 11.5 days allowance. So it would actually not initiate the process itself, it would notify the user that they haven't got enough days.
You can have balance, and you can have you can set it to automatically reset at the end of your calendar year to 0 or to the standard entitlement, 20 days, 25 days, or you can allow it to roll those days over, things like that. You can also set your own public holidays. So, and you can have different. I think you can have different holidays for different users. So if you've got different people in different parts of the world who have different public holidays, you can give all of them different public holidays. You can request half days as well. So these are some of the extra things you can get if you buy a plugin, you're using the self-hosted version. Okay, let's have a look then finally at leads. Something on the sales side. So let's create a new lead first of all. ABC lead. Put a name in here, and we can add in any other information. Company name, maybe a telephone number. We could have a website or anything. Let's save that. Let's save that as a new lead. As you can see across the top, we have different stages. So you can customize these stages to suit your sales process. We have valuing, assigned, we have an on hold, and then we have completed. Now what happens when you complete a lead is it converts it to one of these combination of records. So generally you'll have a company and a contact, but if you want a company contact and deal, you can do that as well. So we have a new lead. If I go into the automation tab, you can see that these stages are replicated across here, and we have some actions already pre-created here. So when the lead is created new, as this one is, it will wait 3 days and actually changes the status of this lead after that period of time. So not doing anything else, what we might want to do is actually add in a communication, maybe send an email, put the details of the email in and bring that one up to there, save that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pause for 3 days and then we're going to send up a follow-up email. Should we change the stage of this to valuing? So should the sales guys looking after this change it to this second stage? We'll send out the notification, scheduling some follow-up calls. It's actually changing the responsible person, in this case to a more senior salesperson. Got some control here as well. So what it's going to do is look at the stage, and if it doesn't change within the 3 days, then it's automatically going to update the stage of this. Probably put it to closed if nothing's happened with it within that 3-day period. Moving on, when we're at the side, we're changing responsible person again. When we go on hold, so if we're on hold and we decide that this is probably nothing's progressing with this, we're going to do an automatic voice call, a robocall here. And when it's converted, we've got some custom code in here. I think this creates a,
this will automatically create a deal.
Creates a deal. Okay. So you can use this to do a whole number of different things, as we can see here: schedule meetings, send text messages, send notifications, send emails, do the robocalls, which we mentioned just then, and we mentioned earlier as well, target these users on Facebook and Google.
Yeah, we go to this in quite a little bit more detail in terms of actual sales processes in the CRM webinar. I think it's just good to point out what it's capable of in this part. But if you wanted to know a little bit more about how you work with leads and how they convert into deals and store your contact and company information, probably recommend watching the CRM webinar on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we go into detail. We set one of these up and we run through it and see exactly what it does. Let's just finish off though, show you triggers. So as well as being able to update the stages, as well as a user being able to update the stages of these manually, you can add triggers. So you can see we've got an email here. So should an email come in that from a sender whose email address matches that on the lead, then it's going to automatically update the stage to converted, and by doing that, it's going to trigger the actions that we have below here. Other triggers that we can use as well as email, incoming call, form submission is quite good. So if part of your sales process, you send an email out to somebody and ask them to complete a form. Of course, Bitrix has a form builder tool. You can build your forms inside Bitrix, publish them on a website. Should that get completed, then this is going to update the stage in this case. Webhook, so integrate with another system. I
particularly like the email link clicked one. I think that works really well with the new CRM marketing inside Bitrix. So what you can do is you can create an email marketing list to a section of your leads, and then once you send that email marketing campaign out and the user clicks on a link in that email campaign, then it can automatically move it along to maybe we have an interested stage or something like that.
Yeah.
It just integrates really well with the new CRM marketing module inside Bitrix.
Yeah, exactly what you should be doing. So if they've expressed an interest by clicking a link that you've asked them to click, then it's probably someone in the sales department should be doing something with it. Okay. So we mentioned a couple of times self-hosted. Just to clarify the difference between cloud and self-hosted, I think most tools that we've looked at are available in both cloud and self-hosted. So they both include the ability to create processes on documents, HR, across the CRM, and on lists. You can create leads from web forms. With the self-hosted, you can really process. You can really run business processes on any entity. I think one example that we sometimes use is on a user profile. So let's say you have a large number of users, you want them to complete their profiles, keep those up to date. Should any of those boxes on their profile page be empty, then that could trigger a business process. You would need the self-hosted to run that type of business process because they're not pre-built in that area. In addition, on the self-hosted, you can integrate better with some other systems through the API. So it is possible. There's a limited API on the cloud. You do have webhooks now, so that allows you to do integration. But if you want to do more complex stuff, then the self-hosted has a full API. So in summary, business process can be run on documents in the CRM, HR, lists, soon also tasks. We have a business process creator tool, whether that's in the standard business process tool or the automation pages. And they can be triggered manually, but they can also be triggered automatically when a stage changes or when a new item is created, or they can be triggered externally by incoming email potentially, or by an API integration. So that's it. We have a webinar at the same time every week, coming soon. CRM, project management, HR tools. We look at business process. That's this one. We look at self-hosted advantages is the one that should be there. So we look at the self-hosted product in detail and what the additional benefits are of using those packages. We have 2 new webinars focusing on telephony, and also we look at sites within new sites product within Bitrix. So to register for webinars, go to intraface.com/webinars. Same time every week. In addition, we have a live session on Bitrix on YouTube at 10 a.m. on Thursday Eastern Time. No need to register for that. If you go to our YouTube channel, details there. You can join in there, ask any question on any subject of Bitrix, and we'll answer that.
Yeah, so it might be good if you've learned anything today from the business processes, then to test it out in the next couple of days and come back to us on Thursday on the YouTube channel, and we can actually show you any questions that you may have live on screen. So we'll be inside Bitrix and we can help you out any way we can. So it's a free hour. Just come prepared with any questions that you may have. And like I say, that's 10 a.m. on Thursday Eastern Time.
Okay, thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Bye for now.